Y'all, it's Hope here at Crafty Hope, and welcome. I'm working again in a junk journal. How about that? And again, approaching it kind of different. I think my last art journal video, I played with the idea of being inspired by a sentiment. So I did the same thing this time, but instead pulled out 3. I'm going to pause this if you want to take a look at what my choices were. And they were words I've clipped out of things. I think one might actually be a fortune cookie, but kind of looked at those to figure out what I wanted to kind of use to inspire me. So I've kind of thought maybe altering the way I start my junk journaling and art journaling. Sometimes coming in from a different perspective can inspire different things. So kind of playing with the idea of starting with a sentiment, not just jumping in straight with the collage. So I kind of let that inspire me. The phrase I picked in this one said, "the pale glow of her skin." So that informed me in a couple ways. One, I needed some kind of glow somehow, and also the her of it. Now, I'm very literal. I think that's definitely one of my things to overcome, because I see the her and I see those kind of words and I'm like, well, I have to take those literally somehow. So it definitely influences me in a lot of ways, and it did with this. So I'm picking out some darker pieces on here. I'm definitely going to go for a darker background because I knew whatever her or whatever I put on top was going to need to glow. And a darker background is definitely a way to have a glow on top. Like if you're going to use a metallic or a white, you want to have that on top of a darker background. So that's kind of what I was thinking of. I think I used a little bit of my Oohoo glue stick maybe to start putting things down, but I'm mostly using my fluid matte medium and a little silicone spatula, picking out, I think there's some book papers and messy painty papers. There's some of the Artist Almanac from several years ago. I'm not even sure what that is there. But, I'm going to still be me and have the first thing that goes on here be a little bit of collage. Sometimes I'll mix it up and throw down maybe some marks or paintiness or something, but I've got a sentiment and that's going to lead me in this. So I'm getting this collage down, covering up that book paper that was under there, and I'm sorting through, my scrap box. There was a butterfly and some beads in that little container. I don't even know why that's in my scrap box, y'all. That's from, I think, my 100-day project when I did one of my beaded assemblage. I've got a little bit of a drippy nose, so I'm sorry if I'm sniffing in here. So since all of that is wet from the fluid matte medium, I'm going to dry this real quick just to have a non-sticky surface. And then I'm coming in with some brown paint. This is I think it's just a Daler Rowney acrylic paint that just says brown on it. And I've got my brayer that I'm going to put over the top. Like I said, I wanted a kind of a darker background, something on which whatever I choose to make my focal can glow. So I'm brayering that out there. I like that the brayer is kind of random and adds the paint without me having to make decisions about where I want that paint to go. So once I got there, I went and grabbed a couple other paints. This is I think it's a Waverly Chalk paint. I think the color is pumpkin or something. Y'all, I keep forgetting I have these chalk paints, and so this is a little gunky. So yeah, look at that. I stuck a bamboo skewer in there to try to stir it up and decided, okay, well, I'll just use what's on here. And I rubbed my finger over the paint that's on that skewer to pick it up, and I'm going to make some of my finger dots. This is a fun mark making technique that I like to use. The chalk paint was just kind of like, I wanted that color orange. I knew I had it. And this was feeling very fall. And you see that those pops of red, that brown, it needed orange. It needed to have the I don't know. I mean, we're right here at Thanksgiving week. It needed to have those fall leaves and turkey colors and all of that. So that's why I went with the orange. And I'm being very persnickety about it. I don't even know. But all of that was just a fun little addition. I'm going to come back in with this is some, oh, y'all, I think it's called like Midnight Blue paint. I'll have it in the description box below for you to take a look. But I am using it to highlight each of those finger dots. It's a little odd to me that I used this color. I think there must be some blue in that background that kind of veered me in that direction. I'm watering down that paintbrush just to kind of smear out some of that. And I'm not going to put the blue around all of these finger dots, but at least some of them to just bring that color in. And I don't know, I like to keep it kind of random. There's something about doing all of them that makes it feel like it has to be consistent, and I'm not going to do that. So what do you think of this technique of using a focal or a sentiment to start my process? How do you start your process? Do you come in going, I am definitely going to use this scrap I have, or I'm definitely going to use these words that have inspired me? I don't know. A lot of times I just start by the collage and that lead me in. So I'm trying to play with, especially thinking about this year ending and going into the next year, how I want to create and having different ways. And I'm trying to experiment a little bit more. So this is part of that process for me. Now I did blot up a bunch of that to kind of push back that brightness of that orange and a little bit of that. And this was all feeling very muddied and dirty. So I went and grabbed my white gesso, putting it in that palette, watered it down a little, and I'm going to sling it using a fan brush, sling it on there. And this helps brighten up that. It also brings that glow in there, but I'm going to dry it real quick because it was super wet. I did pick out, this is my her, or she, her skin, yes. So, but she's a little shiny herself, and I was not feeling that. So I've grabbed just a sanding block from Dollar Tree to push her back a little bit, and then I'm bringing in, this is a gold medium from Liquitex. I've used it several times before, and I've told y'all I'm not really sure how you're supposed to use it, so I often like to find different ways to play with it. So I thought, since it's metallic and gold, it would add a glow. So I'm trying to put that, as you can see, on her skin, but it was so super hard to be exact on this, and you can't even really see it. I'm going to end up, I think, just painting this whole piece. This is a Tim Holtz, I think it's a paper doll portrait. That's what it is. So y'all cannot see the problems I am seeing. I can see like streaks and lines on there that I don't want to see, and I'm going to get super futzy with this. So yeah, I am decided just to paint the whole thing, and it's really watered down. It's a medium. I've used it before as a medium to glue things down. I've used it as kind of a like within paint to kind of brighten them up. It's an interesting material. So I thought I would use it to help with the glow portion of this. I don't know that it adds a whole lot. If you look at it in certain angles, you can definitely see that bit of the metallic shine on it, but it's not like, hey, look, she's glowing. I'm going to ink it because she is a die cut. I am inking the edges of the papers to kind of get rid of the white edging of it. I don't like those cut edges of things. So I use some walnut stain distress ink on an ink blender to get that, and at that point, I'm still not happy with the glow of her skin. So I'm going back in again with a paintbrush, trying to get it all over her. I think I could still see some of the streaks, and that was really like irking me. So, yeah. I told y'all I can be super literal about things sometimes and just real OCD. So yeah, I'm going to get her there, and then I've got this piece of paper. I think it's a jelly print that's got some different colors on it, including a bit of gold paint. So I thought, okay, well that can also be like the glow emanating from her skin. So I put that there, and you saw kind of tore around it so that gold can come out from her skin a little bit. I'm going to glue it down here at some point. And that was just a piece of dictionary paper. Yeah, I think you can kind of see it there over on the right. And I'm trying to remember what I used that with. I think I used it when I did one of the Seek, Gather, Create. I know I wove something with some pieces of paper like that. But I don't remember exactly what project that was. If I can find it, I'll link it. So finally I used my Ooh glue stick to stick that paper on there. I did ink the paper as well. I'm gonna kind of compare everything, trying to decide where I think that sentiment might go. I think I'm gonna go ahead and ink it as well. Yup, look at that. Me finishing things. I'm getting better about it. Not obsessively so yet, but I do get mad at myself when I forget to ink things. I think that is all Ricky Tikki Tabby's fault because she inks everything and it all turns out so beautifully. And so I'm like, no, you have to do it like Ricky does. So I dipped into my scrap bin thinking this needed some more texture to it. And for me, fabric definitely, it's a textile, so it adds texture, I think. And I've got this bit of I don't even know what it is, some kind of linen, y'all, that's got this super neat lace on the edging. And yeah, you can see what I'm doing. I ended up trimming a little bit that off, and I'm going to use that lace as the glow that's coming from her skin. I'm such a dork. I know. So I'm gonna futz with this for far too long. I really liked that the color of that lace matched the snippet of book text I had there. That was my sentiment that I had clipped out of a book. The other two sentiments I clipped, one was something that was typed on like an old index card, and then like I said, I think the other was a fortune cookie. So they were all different textures. This one just spoke to me more. Now, since I did put that gold medium in there, I decided I needed some gold in the background. I'm using, I believe that's the Delta Cream Coat 14K Gold. That I've just, again, using that same fan brush, and I dipped it right in my bottle, got it all over me to wipe it off. And then I'm going to dry all of that. I wanted this to have a little more glow effect to it, but I wanted the dark to be like on the edges so that she's lighting it up. So I use a Stabilo all pencil in black to go around the edges to add that dark, and then I activate it with some water. You can see that just, yeah. And then because I brought the black in there, I need to go ahead. I have to. It's part of my innate. I've got to splatter that on there. So much splatter in this background, y'all. Sometimes I don't want to deal with other mark making, so splatter is my like cheat. I am again bringing more gold in with a Uniball Signo gold gel pen just to do some sketchy lines right there on those three edges. You can see I'm not doing the crease on the right. I don't know. It just doesn't feel right to do the crease. I probably should to make it feel like it's more framed up, but whatever. Finally breaking out the Beacon 3-in-1 glue to stick down that that lace. You could use a Fabri-Tac or tacky glue. Oh, words. My goodness. I know what these things are called. So I've got that down, and I was trying to make a decision about things. So I decided I wanted some of that gold pen to also be on her. So I created some scallops just along the edge. And to me, that kind of mimics the lace that's also like emanating from her. But it's like hand-drawn lace, something like that. And now I'm finally going to glue this down. Now, I do like that I added those scallops and all that because the page next to it is a bit shorter. And that little bit of scallop is going to peek out underneath the page I do later. So y'all may see that later. Because I did it and I was like, ooh, I really like how this shows. I am going to go ahead and just use my glue stick. That's just a thin book page. That was all this really needed to stick it down. I'm going to futz with the gluing a little bit more. Yeah, you'll see I'll pull out some more of that. The top of that, because that lace did add so much texture. The like top of her head wasn't making contact with the page, and so I was having to like really work that glue to get under there and get her glued up. So yeah, y'all are gonna get to see me peel her up and really try to soak everything and get that stuck down. This 3-in-1 glue is nice. It's not, it's a little more fluid than the Fabri-Tac, but it doesn't adhere quite the same. So I'm still experimenting, trying to figure out what glues I like and all that. To carry things over, I am adding a scallop underneath my sentiment there, and I will finally be finished with this one. I would not have gotten there on this page without this sentiment. Starting with this, it's a neat experiment for me and something I might continue. So let me know what you think of this. I've got at least another one, maybe two that start this way. So tell me how you're inspired and if you like this kind of experimental way to get inspired. Anyway, I am so glad you spent this time with me, and I will see y'all later with more experimental art, I guess. Thanks for watching. Bye.